Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and an overview of this relatively new GPS drone from Holy Stone. This is the HS720E. It's a brushless GPS drone with EIS image stabilization. We'll take a little closer look at that right after this. Alright guys, let's go ahead and open up the box and see what all comes inside here for the HS720E. Pretty sure that there's a carrying case inside of here, so we'll have to obviously open that up as well. This will again be just an unboxing and an overview, so we'll go into detail what we can figure out about the drone, but there's not going to be any flight review with this video because it's raining outside and it's so much rain right now. It's going to be a few days before I'll be able to get this drone up in the air. So if you're looking for the flight review, just stay tuned to my channel. I will be publishing that as soon as I can. So as you can see on the box here, it says this has electronic image stabilization, otherwise known as EIS. That's where many times it uses your phone over Wi-Fi and doesn't work well. That's not the case with this drone. This drone actually has an onboard chip that actually does the image stabilization and then saves it locally to the SD card. That's the way you want it done. That's a much more expensive option than some of the toy drones that try to advertise that, where it just simply records a Wi-Fi feed and has your phone do it. That's not the case with this drone. And from what I've seen, this drone does a really good job of that. Some of this EIS is starting to become so good that we're going to see some drones that are going to come close, not at the same quality, but close to a real mechanical gimbal. And they're getting really good at doing this. Now, EIS is going to cause the image to be cropped down a little bit more because it has to crop off those edges as it rotates it internally to make the image look stable. So do keep that in mind. So you'll never be able to really replace a gimbal, but these are coming close. My prediction is 2021 is probably going to be the year for EIS on the drones because it's finally gotten good enough and it's come down in cost enough that they can do that. All right, enough jibber jabbering about that. Let's look on the side in the box of the box and see if there's anything else we want to point out. It mentions it has independent ESCs, so I believe that means there's an ESC for each motor on the arm, and not a 4-in-1 is what it usually means. It has a 2204 1700 kV brushless motors, and it mentions it uses 2.4 gigahertz communication for the low voltage and the weak signal. So I'm thinking this must not be 5 gigahertz, which some of the drones use, but that could also just mean that it uses 2.4 on the controller. So there's a pretty good, actually there's probably a pretty decent chance it's going to use 5 gigahertz for the Wi-Fi feed to your phone. Most of these newer drones, especially this price range, will use 5G, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, just because it's less interference and it has a higher bandwidth. So let's go ahead and open it up. And as you can see, there is a case in here, and we'll have to see if this paper, I may just be able to rip it and get it out of here. As you can see, I've not had this open. So there's a very nice looking soft, sort of soft, almost like a rubbery feeling case with the Holy Stone branding on it. So let's go ahead and open it up here and see how it's all packaged. With many Holy Stone products, it's very nicely packaged. Holy Stone is one of the brands like Snaptane and Potensic, which are primarily an Amazon seller. So this is, from what I've seen, this is going to be one of the better stabilized image drones you can get that are sort of an Amazon exclusive drone. Sometimes they rebrand these drones. Holy Stone tends to have more drones that are unique to their brand, so you're less likely to be able to find this exact drone from a Chinese seller such as Banggood. So we'll set this to the side. This is going to be the box with all the accessories and extra propellers and stuff. Here's our controller. There's probably some stuff back here as well, the instruction manual. We'll take a peek at that. But let's go ahead and look at what we all care about the most first, and that is the drone itself. Now, since I just opened this up, of course, a lot of this is I'm going to be telling you guys is going to be going off experience from my nearly 5 years of reviewing drones, but there's going to be something here that I may be wrong about, or I may not know what it is at this time. And again, if I catch that, I will make sure to point that out whenever we do get to the actual flight review. On the side of the arm here, it mentions that it can do 4K at 30 frames per second with a 130-degree field of view. Hopefully this focuses in. I've got a fixed focus on my camera set to about right in here. So if it's slightly blurry, it's just because I don't want my camera constantly auto-focusing. It looks like it's jumping around on you guys, which is super annoying. So of course this is foldable, so let's go ahead and we'll fold out the back arms first and then the front. Otherwise they'll get caught on each other. And there is the drone folded out. I don't see any landing gear that come down on this drone. As you can see, there is a decal, a clear protective decal on the front of the lens. You obviously make sure you take that off or you'll have a really cloudy, blurry looking image. And there is some dampening which will help reduce the vibrations on this drone. And what that does, the less vibrations you get, the less the EIS has to work. And the less it has to work, the less the image has to be cropped down. And here are those brushless motors, kind of unique size on these, and the fold out props on this drone. This I'm sure is your power button. And the battery is inserted here in the back. We'll pull it out. This foam piece I'm sure is going to come off. That's to keep it from getting plugged in and powering up while it's in storage or while it's being shipped. So let's set down the drone and look at that battery. It is a 7.4 volt, so it's a 2S LiPo at 2800 milliamp. I don't remember exactly what the advertised flight time was on this drone. If I catch it here, I'll mention it, but I do remember that it was supposed to be rather impressive. So yeah, this is just an ordinary battery. It's not a smart battery that I can tell of any kind. A smart battery, I mean a battery that can discharge itself to storage voltage and anything like that. I mean, I guess you could call it an intelligent battery. So go ahead and pull that off, and now obviously we'd be ready to be snapped in and power up the drone. Also on the bottom, we've got some sensors here. This is a binocular or a downward facing camera, which would be for optical flow, and that has a decal over it as well. And that's going to be whenever if you lose GPS lock, the drone can use this to help hold position. And these look like some sort of infrared sensors of some sort by the little bulbs in there. That must be something else to sense the ground. Like it's not, you know, sometimes you'll see ultrasonic ones, which are like a little speaker, and that can help with altitude hold. But this looks like this is using something to help detect the ground, which might be so it not only can hold position, but also help it whenever it's landing and coming down for a smooth landing. And again, you have the decal here on as well to take that off. And then here on the side is your micro SD card slot. It says obviously use a class 10. When you're filming 4K at 30, you've got to make sure you have a speedy SD card, otherwise you'll have a whole bunch of drop frames. As far as I know, they do not provide that card, so you need to provide that for yourself. Thankfully, even a decent class 10 SD card is not all that expensive for a micro one anymore. So yeah, it feels nicely built. Here's some lights on the back that are indicators that I'm sure is going to tell you your battery level. I don't know the color of the LED lights offhand, but you can see the lights will light up here. Lots of times I use red and green. That could be different on this one to help with not only seeing the drone, but helps with orientation. Now on a GPS drone, orientation is not nearly as important as a good old manual flyer. So let's set that down and let's take a look at the controller, and then we'll dig into the box and see what the charger looks like and all that stuff. So of course this has a protective film on top of the screen, so this will be some telemetry information here. You've got, looks like your auto takeoff and landing right here, and this would be probably your return to home. It could be that this is to turn GPS on and off, but I'm pretty sure that's going to send it back home where it will fly up overhead and then descend to the ground and land where it took off. This is probably something to do with unlocking the props to fire them up. And then here's a switch here, which again, I don't know what all these do, but this may be from going GPS to altitude hold. As you can see, this any self-centering stick means the drone has altitude hold. And again, this is probably return to home. Let's go ahead and fold out. Let's see if how this does this. Here's these hand grips down here on the bottom, so you got that to grip it. And then here's your antennas. See if I can get these folded out here, but they're really snapped in there because I want to see if I can tell if these are real or fake. And this left antenna is most definitely legitimate. There's a wire in there. That's how you can tell. If you see a wire on the hinge going up in the antenna, that just means it's holding that wire up so you get a better signal. I don't see one on the right, so if you put them both up, the right shouldn't really make a difference. This right antenna is fake. It's just for looks. And let's see here. Here's a GPS switch on the side. So this would be going between GPS and altitude hold. So if I get a chance to look in the manual, I can hopefully give you guys a little better idea on exactly what the buttons do. Otherwise, I'll most certainly go over that during the flight review. Again, I think this will be to send it home. This will be to go between GPS and altitude hold. But I'll have to see what this actually does right there. And then your phone clip holder is right here. So you'll pull it out and you can put your phone in there, so you'll have to kind of adjust your antennas around that how you want to do it, because I don't see if there's any kind of I'll have to see if there's any kind of tilt. You'll have to see if we can get these antennas out of the way here of your phone. It does look like it shows it here, so there should be a tilt then. It does mention it. As you can see those arrows there, that there is a tilt for it. Here, I'll have to just figure out how to do that. There's that you put this down here, and this is the bottom grip for the phone as well. But yeah, I'll dig into this. I don't want to go start pulling around and breaking something off because there's the tilt. It's just not much. I thought it tilted more by looking at that picture, but no, it's just a little bit of tilt there. So you can tilt it forward now, and then that gives it the tilt and gets it out of the way of the antennas. All right, then you've got some dials here, and then you've got over here on this side, this button here is going to be your photo video button. Probably, like most drones, I'm willing to bet a short press will be for photos, a long press will be for video. On this side, you got a high-low, so if you want to change rates and be able to fly faster, you'll click this. It's probably 2 rates, but it could be 3. And then on this one here also says it's for the lights, so probably a long press will turn the LEDs on and off if you want to do that, because you'll save a very minute amount of power, but there's really never much of a reason to turn off your LEDs. Then you got some dials. Let's see, this one on this side is fixed and doesn't move, so my guess is this dial is just for looks and they didn't actually make it functional. This one does move and center back, and this is almost certainly going to be for your gimbal tilt, or the tilt of the actual one-axis gimbal on this. So this is going to tilt down and let you look down at something because it's motorized, so that is nice. And then of course the EIS is going to keep the image nice and stable if it works well. And again, like I said, from what I've seen of this drone in the past, the EIS works very, very well on that. So that should be all the options on the controller. Here's the door in the back. It looks like it takes just 2 AA batteries, which is rather surprising. It's not rechargeable. A lot of these drones in this price range come with a rechargeable one. That's just 2 AA's. That's got to power the screen and send the signal out. So I'd be a little bit concerned about range. I mean, it should be fine for just regular flying, but I wouldn't expect to get really great range with only powered off of 2 AA batteries. It's just usually you can see a higher voltage whenever they're powering for a longer distance off these. And then let's take a look and see what's here in the back. And if I have a chance in instructions, I'll be able to take a quick peek in there. Hopefully we can see what some of those buttons do. So let's open this up. There's going to be warranty information and information about the batteries and things to tell you. Sometimes they'll put stuff in here that pertains only to leaving reviews on Amazon and stuff, you know. And here is a rather nice sized manual. It's going to have multiple languages. That's why they're it's so big. But most likely in the front here is where you're going to see the English, and that's where it'll go over everything. So, you know, Holy Stone may sell this at some other vendors overseas, and obviously here in the United States you're going to have a lot of English or Spanish. Yeah, so it shows you everything here. Let's just see if I can really quickly see here. Here is some of the labels. So yeah, pretty much everything I've got pretty close. That is actually the switch, believe it or not, is actually your power switch. I'm just so used to buttons that threw me off. Yeah, this is unlock and lock your props. And let's see, this is your return to home, so I was correct about that. Just take some quick peeks here. You have the long press on the speed switch for changing your rates, and it says short press will be the light switch. So you actually have to long press it to do the beep and the beep beep to go through your rates. That's a bit unusual since you're more likely to use this for speeds rather than lights. So it's kind of odd. You typically want to just have to short press something that you use more often. The photo video is just what I said. Short press is photos, long press is to record video, and of course there's that GPS altitude hold switch on the side, and everything else, as far as I can tell, looks to line up with what I said. This is your camera adjustment dial on the right, like I said, and the one on the left, they don't even mention it because it is non-functional. All right, guys, so that should wrap up pretty much the unboxing. There will be an app you'll use with this, and I will find that app in here in the instructions. Lots of times they'll provide you with the QR code, and here it is. And if you're on Android, here it is from the Google Play Store. If you're on iOS, this is a QR code you'll scan. The app is called Ophelia Go. Interesting. I've never heard of that app, nor have I used that app. Lots of times Holy Stone or Snaptane or Patinsic will have their own name in the app. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. It says you'll connect to the Holy Stone EIS on your Wi-Fi. So yeah, make sure you get this app. That'll let you see where you're flying, and will give you probably some options you can change in this drone that maybe are not going to be configurable from your controller. Maybe, I don't know exactly, but lots of times you might have something like your EV or your exposure, and then some of your smart features. Because this is GPS, this is going to have, besides return to home and fail safes, you're going to have follow me, waypoints, and circle me, I'm sure. And those are always something you have to configure within the app to tell it to do it, along with all your parameters that you might want to adjust in the app itself. Okay, guys, and one other thing I want to mention here before we get to the end of the video is what comes inside this box. I was getting ready to wrap up the video there because I had a really bad itch in my throat, and the last thing you guys want to do is listen to me cough a whole bunch in the video. But let's take it out, what's in the box. This is your spare props. It feels like several sets. I'm not sure if there's a full set in there. There could be another bag with another two, if that's the case. Here is a spare battery with this one. So we got 2 batteries with this one. That's excellent. You can double your flight time, which already is supposed to be impressive. Or you don't have to charge the same battery all the time. Here's a screwdriver. Let's see what else is in here. And it looks like this is probably, yeah, this is going to be a charger for your battery. And it looks like a USB. Let's take a quick look at that battery. Oh, here it is. To see where does that charge on this, how does that charge? It may be something where it, so I don't see like a USB spot. So let's go ahead and open this up so we know what this does, rather than do a bunch of second guessing here and guessing and I'm not right. So let's just take a look. But here it is, and yeah, here are these little things that open up. I'm sure it's going to go on to the those little slots on the battery, and that's what it does. It's going to go, let's see, it's got 2 of them here, so I'm thinking maybe it's designed to be able to charge both batteries. I'll have to take a look at that. I'm sure the instruction manual is going to tell us how to do that. I just don't want to get it in here and do something wrong, but this will be your charger. And then here, this is going to go into the side with the USB-C, and this goes into your USB port to actually power the whole thing. So that's going to be, that's not ideal because it's going to charge rather slow. Let's take a look really quick and see if I can see how do you charge the battery. Charging, here we go. So it does show this as I was trying to do. It flips down and then the battery goes in. I just didn't want to go forcing it. So you can plug this into a wall adapter or a computer or a power bank, and then these little flaps come down, and it does. I was doing it correctly. So you're going to put these into it. I'll have to see how that goes, but it'll go onto the battery, something like this. We'll have to, again, I'll have to play around with it, but since they give you two, that makes me think you can do both batteries at the same time. I just need to get this down the table where I can do this and not try to fiddle around with it up into the air here. So anyway, this is your charger. You get two batteries. You should be able to charge them at the same time. But since they're going to be going off of a 5 volt, hopefully a 2 amp USB source you plug it into, that's still going to be a really slow charge. So just keep that in mind. And if you can charge two, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it'll slow it down much, but either way, it's going to be really, really slow. But it may slow it down more if you're charging both of them. All right, guys, so that should wrap up the table review and overview unboxing of the Holystone HS720E. I'm going to get this out and fly it around as soon as I possibly can and let you guys see how it flies. And more importantly, how does that video look? Because that's the real big selling point with that EIS. So be sure to stick around for that. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. I never dreamed I could do that. If you see that bell up there, click that bell, because that lets you know that when you click that, if I publish a new video, you get notified. Otherwise, it's very easy. You may only get notified to 1 out of 5 or 6 videos that I publish, and you can easily miss stuff. So make sure that you click that. Give me a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate all the likes. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.